understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
All right. It's Sunday night. It's the Sunday night Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. I've had a nice one. It's been relaxing. I watched some boxing last night. Watched the Dubois Anthony Joshua fight last night. It was good. I enjoyed it. Big boxing fan over here. Let me know if you're a boxing fan in the chat. All right, looks like we got a few people in here already. We got Rumbum in the chat. We got JJ Nevada in the chat. All right. It looks like JJ Nevada got the second like on the stream. That's very good. You know, the first like on the stream gets double good karma, but second is pretty good too. Good for you, man. He says he's going to get the first true Gina of the evening as well. And he just did. Apparently he's having fried chicken for dinner and waiting for the bologna. Well, that's you can't go wrong with that. I like fried chicken as well. Although KFC's a little gross these days. I don't know what happened to it. It's become a bit, I don't know, the quality's gone down. Used to love that when I was a kid. Everything's worse though than when I was a kid. God damn it. God damn it. What is it? Is it communism? I don't know. All right. So I thought I'd just have something soothing on the screen for you when you first tune in. I think this is a nice thing to start this stream off with. It's quite hypnotic, soothing, it's calming, it's relaxing. There's really nothing in the world. There's nobody in the world that could be opposed to this in any way because it's just good, wholesome. It's fun. It makes you feel good. It's like vitamins or something, or going for a long walk. Anyway, hope everybody's had a good weekend. And what are we going to talk to? What are we going to talk about? Let's get to the menu. What are we going to talk about tonight? Let's go through the menu. So first off, Harris's critics sound off after VP is endorsed by what? The IRS? That's a terrible idea. If they're going to endorse Kamala Harris and they want her to win, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. How many voters did she lose just from hearing that? Oh, wait a second. The IRS is supporting her? Ooh. Oh. Well, maybe I won't then. Hold on a second. I got to check something. Got to check something real quick. Okay, good. All right. But yeah, IRS might have wanted to keep that to themselves if they wanted to help her. I'm glad they said it because I think that Kamala Harris might be like World War III. I don't know. Let's see. Rosie's in the chat, and she says, well, I have the first Trutard. We have the first True Gina and the first Trutard in the chat tonight already. Wow, we're on fire already. This is going to be a good one tonight, I can tell. All right. Rosie's been sending me some good stuff on X for the stream. So I think I've got another one of your ideas coming up. It's hidden away somewhere in one of my tabs. I'm sure we're going to get to it tonight. All right. Anyway, the quote is, get ready to be taxed to death. So IRS, big fan of Kamala Harris. I don't know. That doesn't sound good. I don't feel like, is there one person who's going to see that and be like, oh yeah, I love her. She sounds great. Let's see. Iran apparently wants her to win as well because they were trying to, they hacked the Trump campaign and were trying to leak secrets to the Democrats. Who is Iran aligned with as well? That would be Russia. That would be Putin. Isn't that interesting? I think it's fairly obvious Putin would rather have Harris because, for one thing, she's more predictable, but also weak, right? Also weak. Trump wants to force a negotiated settlement. I don't think Putin wants that or needs that. He doesn't. He's winning. It's a war of attrition. Eventually, they're going to start winning it, and they are. So he can win it on his own terms at this point without a negotiated settlement. So with Harris, he'll just be able to do that. That's what I think. And I'm not picking any sides there either. I'm not promoting Russia invading anybody or anything. I just reality facts on the ground in a war of attrition. It comes down to men and material. That's it. All right, what else? Chicago gangs clash with Venezuelan Trend Aragua members. Blacks against migrants. Been wondering when I was going to start seeing stories about this because it's an obvious thing, right? If you've got alien gangs going into your country, at some point they're going to want to do the same things. Well, they're going to immediately want to do the same things they were doing where they came from. And there's already gangs doing those things and turf wars. And then, well, I guess they're going to start killing each other. Rosie said, y'all, I'm at my mom's. She just asked, what is a trutard? I'm sure Rosie will explain it. I'm sure Rosie will explain it to her. I do rant about Trugina and trutards constantly. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I thought we'd take a little bit of a look at crime statistics from Chicago as well, which has some interesting details in it. Harris is desperate to schedule second debate after rejecting Trump's offer for rematch. She wants a CNN debate now. She turned down the Fox debate. So obviously she's only going to be willing to debate if it's with a network that's going to rig it for her, like ABC. So it has to be like a 3 against 1, or she has to have some big advantage in it, or else she's not going to do it. Again, if you're winning, do you really want the rematch? If you got a heavyweight title fight and you win, do you want the rematch? It's the guy you lost to who wants the rematch. I think their internal polling is telling them something very different than what CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times are telling everybody. I think their internal numbers might be a little bit different. They might have actual accurate polling that they're using, which would probably be smart. I mean, like Steph, Teamsters non-endorsement warning sign tells you something's very wrong, doesn't it? Unions aren't endorsing. Teamsters did internal polling. It was 60% plan to vote for Trump. Now, of course, they can't endorse Trump just cause, right? Just cause. So they're not endorsing anybody, even though it's pretty clear who the members are endorsing. But you know how it goes, right? It's corruption. Let's see what's going on. So, so Joe Biden is checked out. Joe Biden is now checked out in every conceivable way. And I was just handing it to Joe. Like, how is Jill qualified or have any authority to chair meetings, to chair a cabinet meeting? Weird, right? Weird. First one in over a year. Gee, seems like the whole world's been burning in the last year. First cabinet meeting, and then it's her Dr. Jill. Yeah, I don't know. This feels like end times. This is just an omen. These are just signs that the end times are coming. It's crazy. It's crazy, actually, isn't it? It's actually completely insane. All right. Pierre Poilievre gives us, I think, a pretty good answer when asked if men should be allowed in women's washrooms or to compete in women's sports. And he's pretty good. There's been quite a few viral clips of Pierre Poilievre. Pardon me. Should probably mute my mic when I do that. Pardon me. We got another one here. So this is pretty good. It's satisfying. Trust me on that. Let's see. What do we got here? So we're going to talk, obviously, about more election stuff. Democrats are saying hand counting ballots is actually a threat to democracy, apparently. What else are they going to say? Looks like we got Antipop in the chat. Good to see ya. He says Cognac and Baloney was a good album. Huh. Thinking there was an album that was like, what was it? And who was it by? It's Cognac and I'm sure Antipop will tell me. All right. Blah, blah. We got Elon Musk talking about just obvious stuff. We've got a really funny Trump ad here, which is quite enjoyable. We'll take a look at that. And then we've got just the usual mashup of all kinds. We got the True Gina talking a bunch of garbage as usual, but all kinds of stuff. There's Biden, Joe Biden getting really confused, forgetting what he's doing, forgetting that he's doing a press conference with the Prime Minister of India. It's all very crazy. We'll get into that. You guys might have seen that. Here we got a clip from Thomas Sowell here, which I think we're all Thomas Sowell fans. I think we'll all enjoy that. Here's a this is from Canada. This is a Filipino security guard taking his job seriously, and he's welcome in the country. I like him. Or anybody like him. Although, I mean, regardless at this point, immigration just has to be cut down because we're in a population trap. And it's just logistics to that point. A big fat tranny jumped on the stage at a place where Matt Gaetz is speaking, and yeah, that's the thing that they do. All right, we got some Bill Maher stuff here, who just drives you nuts because it seems like he's so close to figuring it out, and then nope, I'll vote for the crazy people. Eating watermelon with friends. This is one of our nice little palate cleansers with the animals. It's nice. Look at that monkey eating some watermelon with his little duckling friends there. Doesn't get any better than that. Let's see. Elon Musk having a little talk there. An old clip from Archie Bunker, All in the Family. They don't make TV shows like this anymore. This is like a little time capsule. This is just like a little bit of something to Doug and the Slugs. Antipop, Doug and the Slugs. That's right. I was just looking up Doug Bennett from Doug and the Slugs yesterday. This is really weird because I like Doug and the Slugs. I never owned any of their albums, but I just kind of hear the hit songs, and there were hits in Canada. I don't think there were hits anywhere else. And I heard that he died of cirrhosis of the liver. Quite young. It was like 2004. I remember hearing that back then, and it turned out he was a serious alcoholic. And I don't know, there's something about that story. He used to write for the local newspaper, one of the local newspapers that was called Georgia Straight in Vancouver before he was in Doug and the Slugs. It was kind of an interesting story. There's a documentary about it, actually. Doug and the Slugs. That's weird, man. That's weird. I was just looking up Doug and the Slugs stuff yesterday. Weird, man. In fact, now I find that kind of suspicious, actually. How did you know that? What's happening? Can I trust anybody? I don't know. We got some Shane Gillis stuff here. Biden craziness. I thought we'd just go through this. Some of the most incredible guitar riffs in rock history. I don't agree with them all, and I thought we'd go over it just because it's different. Let's see. You've got terrorist supporters there. All kinds of stuff. Bjorn Lomborg talking to Bill Maher, who's going to tell us about why the world isn't ending and why the sky isn't falling. Really good. Got a little bit of Ricky Gervais. Let's see. Not much on Diddy, just a little bit here. This is funny. All right. Anyway, you guys get the point. That's it. Let's go back to the top. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about as well? I don't know how long this one's going to be tonight. We don't have that much stuff. I'd kind of like to try and keep it around 3 hours if we can. We did like 6 hours on Friday, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But anyway, it's weird about that Doug and the Slugs thing, though. Really weird. All right, let's get started. Let's just get started. I need some caffeine. It's better. All right. Harris's critics sound off after VP is endorsed by IRS affiliated union. Get ready to be taxed to death. This can't be good. Getting endorsed by the IRS? The IRS, I mean, it's easy to understand why they would endorse her because her administration, the Harris or the Biden Harris, or I guess as Biden himself said, the Harris Biden administration hired 86,000 new IRS employees to investigators. Uh, they said it was for billionaires. You know what? News break. There's not 86,000 billionaires in the States. They're not going to be going after the billion. They don't need that many for billionaires. They need that to extract every possible penny from normal people. That's the point of it. All right. The move should tell you all. The move should tell you all what her plans are for us. One pro-Trump commentator said, "Yeah, a lot of those 80. Yeah, what percentage of those 86,000 IRS agents will be dedicated to just attacking conservative influencers? You know, attacking. I don't know, attacking Greg Gutfeld, attacking. Oh yeah, there's one billionaire they'll definitely go after, which is Elon Musk. Probably the only one. They'll probably leave the rest of them alone. But yeah, it's a scary thing. Social media users warned that a major IRS affiliated union's recent endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris is a serious red flag. Yeah, and you know it's going to be politicized, right? It seems to have all been politicized at this point. Everything seems to have been politicized at this point. The National Treasury Employees Union, a union that represents various federal agents, including those of the Internal Revenue Service, put out a statement this week praising Harris for increasing the IRS's budget and endorsing her for president. Ex-users saw it as more proof she should get nowhere near the White House. IRS already has been used as a weapon by the Obama administration. There's precedent for it already. Of course it will be under Harris. Quote, the IRS Agents Union just endorsed Kamala Harris. That should tell you all what her plans are for us. Get ready to be taxed to death. Vote Trump. Conservative commentator Joey Manorino said on X. I think I saw him on Timcast a little while ago. The NTEU explained its reason for endorsing Harris in a Wednesday press conference, stating that the Biden-Harris administration, quote, also delivered agency budgets that provide federal employees with additional staffing and resources, including significant new investments to rebuild the IRS under the Inflation Reduction Act. And by the way, we're going to get all of your money. We're going to harass everybody. Let's see, the NTEU national president, Doreen Greenwald, was quoted in the statement saying, quote, when it comes to treating federal employees with respect, valuing their service, and investing in their work, Kamala Harris is the clear choice. She shares our values and our commitment to make sure that the federal government works for all Americans. Maybe we should rewrite part of that. She shares our values and our commitment to persecute and torture all political dissidents and just generally harass the public. As pointed by Media Research Center, the Biden-Harris endorsed Inflation Reduction Act increased the IRS budget by $80 billion over the course of 10 years, an expansion that will enable it to hire 87,000 or agents. I don't know. How do you know they hate you? Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz warned of the Biden-Harris administration's further plans to expand the IRS, writing in a September Fox News op-ed, quote, now the Biden-Harris administration's 2025 budget proposal calls for an additional $104 billion from the IRS. Or for the IRS. That's 8 times the annual budget just 2 years after Congress appropriated an amount that was 7 times the agency's annual budget. What is going on here? I feel like it's not something they're really going after hard, is it? The Harris administration. I think they might have put out like one statement and then went, ooh, yeah, people don't like this. This is bad. Ex-users saw the IRS endorsement as a bad sign. Conservative digital strategist Greg Price wrote, quote, if the IRS, the FBI, Wall Street, Iran, Putin, the military-industrial complex, the New York Times, Iran, 100 former McCain interns, and Dick Cheney all want one candidate to win, then for the love of God, vote for the other one. I'm not seeing, there was this attempt to, from Iran that hacked the Trump campaign and then tried to give the information to the Harris campaign. They're saying that it wasn't successful. Really think they wouldn't take that? I mean, Steele dossier, right? That was a bunch of Russian bullshit that the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for. I think they'd take it. But apparently they're saying they didn't. I don't know. But it feels like, let's see. So you got Iran, and if Iran's doing that, they're allied with Putin. So you got to include Putin in that. So you got Iran, Putin, the IRS, Dick Cheney. I don't know. Might be evil. Commentator and podcast host, Comfortably Smug, blasted the Harris campaign for proudly brandishing the endorsement posting. The fact that the IRS is unionized is horrific, let alone that Kamala Harris thinks their endorsement is a good thing. All the worst people in the world are endorsing Kamala. Weird. Redheaded Libertarian asked, was Satan not available? I guess not. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Nevada says we have around 68,000 IRS agents now. The Dems want to add 87,000 more. Trump won't do it. No, because he knows that would be bad for people. It's too much. Let's see. Anti-Pop says fines in Texas. Yep. Rumbum says when Trump wins, he does need to appoint Elon for the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, audit the government, and then go in a deep and hard cut. Agreed. Every Western government needs to do that right now. Rumbum says, for real, if they do this right, it'll be a once in a few century moment to right the ship and actually clean house. Less government and less wasteful spending is nothing but legendary winning. True. Antipop says, well, this is interesting. I hadn't heard they'd got their their endorsement. She's got their endorsement yet. He's saying that Hitler, Stalin, and Crowley, is that Aleister Crowley, endorsed Kamala. Wow. I'm not surprised, though. Not surprised. All right. I guess we can leave that one alone. IRS. They want to help her win. They just keep it to themselves. Hold on a sec. Let's see. I know what you guys are jonesing for because we didn't get to have one on Friday. This sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID. But they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. By joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO. That's the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. That's rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and you believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we're just happy if you watch us on Rumble. I give myself a 6 out of 10 on that one. 6 out of 10. I tried, but I didn't have it in that one. I guess I should do them later in the show. Rosie says 9.8 out of 10. Well, okay. I guess we're always our hardest critics. Well, no, also Rumbum is also our harshest critics as well. He says 7. And he's right, though. I agree with that. Nevada says 7 out of 10. Yeah. I would go lower. I'd say 6. I think I got to work my way into them. Maybe this one was too early. Anyway, there'll be more ads. Don't you guys worry. Where are we going next? So this is totally predictable. Chicago gangs clash with Venezuelan Tren de Aragua. Venezuelan Tren de Aragua members. Blacks against migrants. Local gangs claim Venezuelan gangsters have started to impede on their traditional territory. Who could have guessed this might happen? Seems fairly obvious. I mean, okay, so you got alien gangs coming in, and I think it's safe to assume they're going to do the gang things they were doing in the other countries they were in before. They're going to do that in the new country because that's what they know how to do. And then there's already people in whatever country you're in that they're coming from. There's already people in your country that are doing the same gang things that the new gangs want to do. And what's going to happen? They're going to do gang things, and eventually they're going to start killing each other. So I guess that's something to watch for. Venezuelan migrants moving into Chicago's South Side have caught the attention of the city's gangs, with some fearing an impending turf war between local gangs and their Venezuelan counterparts. Of course there will be. That always happens. When a new group moves in, the existing criminal group, they fight. That always happens. What would be the mechanism by which that didn't happen? I guess the one mechanism would be that you just don't let the criminal gangs in, and then you try and deal with your domestic gangs, which sounds easier. Sounds easier just to deal with one group of gangs, doesn't it? I don't know. I would think so. Quote, when the black gangs here get fed up with the illegalities and criminal activities of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in flames, and there will be nothing the National Guard or the government can do about it when the bloodshed hits the streets. It'll be blacks against migrants. That's from Tyrone Muhammad, a former Chicago gangster who did 20 years in prison and now runs a violence prevention program. He said that in a report for the New York Post. Maybe he would know. Maybe he would know. The comments come as Chicago has seen an influx of Venezuelan migrants, according to the report, including members of the notorious Tren de Aragua gang. I don't know. I guess you got to cheer for the domestic criminal gangs, right? I guess you got to cheer for them to win. Are they as bad as the Tren de Aragua ones, the Venezuelan gangs? I don't know. Maybe they should just have like an Olympics for gangs. Then all the gangs of the world can compete, and then we can find out who's the most brutal. Probably better than inviting them into your communities to find out how brutal they are. I'm just going to guess. With the arrival has come a rise in crime, locals told the New York Post. While some Venezuelan gangsters have started to encroach on the territory of the city's local gangs. Quote, there's been a lot going on with the migrant gangs that nobody's even hearing about. Zach Massey, a local Chicago gang member, told the New York Post. So here's from a local Chicago gang member. They be moving in our own territory and robbing people, but they don't get arrested like we do. See, this is something you keep hearing, right? Like they don't get arrested for some reason. Like there's some sort of favoritism going on. I actually talked to one on a translator app. He told me all the things he got going on, how they helped him get a car, an apartment, EBT card, all this stuff. They're giving them thousands. We get maybe 400 a month. They don't even have social security numbers. So I guess it's one thing when you just say, hey, world's gangs, all the gangs in the world, come on in. It's another thing though, when because that's bad enough, right? But then it's a whole new thing when you say, oh, by the way, we'll give you a car and an appointment, and we'll give you a card where you can withdraw money out of the bank. We'll give you thousands. All you have to do is just relocate, just wander across the border and relocate your gang here. Don't worry about your identity. Just throw all your ID away before you come over. It seems weird, right? Like this seems like what you would do if you wanted to destroy your society. How is it not a 24/7, 365 scandal, this shit? How is it not a massive scandal every single day? Like, this is insane. It's completely insane. I mean, open borders, for one thing, is already insane. Right? Just anybody who can get across the border can stay. As long as they don't have ID on them so that you can't figure out who they are. How is this? It's bizarre. How did we get to, how did the West get to this place where you have this lunacy happening really across the Western world? I mean, talk to Europe about it. Not only, hey, this is a good place to set up your gang. Also, we'll give you an apartment. We'll give you money. Maybe we'll give you a car. We'll give you a phone. As long as you set up a gang. As long as you get all your gang friends over and start gang banging, I guess. We don't have enough crime here. You know, we're not totally happy with the criminal gangs we've already got. Is this the great replacement theory for like domestic gangs? I don't know. I think the present ones are bad enough. I don't know if you really want the Venezuelan ones as well. Sources from local Chicago gangs told the New York Post that members of the Venezuelan gang are often heavily armed and have begun spilling into areas traditionally controlled by local gangs. Will this be the thing that ends the border? Right? It's complaints from like the domestic gangs, from the local gangs. Maybe. Local gang member Corey Rogers told the New York Post that Venezuelan gangsters will often be seen showing the flag, a slang term for brandishing their firearms. He also showed the outlet text threads that featured local gang members threatening turf wars with the newcomer gangsters. What bothers me is that the Venezuelans are united, Rogers said. The black gangs are too divided and they take each other down. Others shared concerns about the possibility of increased violence, telling the New York Post that things had actually improved in the city before the influx of migrants. I'm pulling for the Chicago gangs. I'm pulling for the domestic Chicago gangs, the hometown gangs. But it sounds like they don't have hometown advantage. Sounds like the new guys have hometown advantage for some reason. Huh. Quote, it's still violent down here, but it's calmed down a lot, one gang member told the outlet. Back in the day, we'd get shot if we went over there. It's calmed down a lot. The last thing we need are the Venezuelans. Will that be the last time you hear that sentence? The last thing we need right now are the Venezuelans. I kind of feel like it may not be the last time you hear something like that. Oh, God, the last thing we need is those Venezuelans. We're talking about Venezuelan gangs here. Venezuelan gangs. Again, I told you, this is part of the conspiracy, right? The great replacement of gangs. It's weird. It's weird how, I mean, this should be a satire article. This should be something from The Onion from 20 years ago. It's just weird. The Chicago Police Department did not immediately respond to a Fox News digital request for comment. I bet you they didn't. Huh. You're tired. You're hungry. You're criminal gangs. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Antipop says, support your local gangs. Well, hey, at least you know them. Let's see. Rumbum says that IGN scored my last ad read 7. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, I didn't feel like it was inspired. Maybe I need to practice when I'm not streaming. Let's see. Nevada says that gang problem ought to go well. Yeah, that's just what... well, that's the last thing they need right now is those Venezuelans. Antipop says, I think the blacks will go to war with them. Well, look, when you've got... like, how are things settled between gangs? They have their turf, right? They have their area where they control the criminal resources in that area, and when gangs start, somebody else encroaches on that, well, there's not they can't sue them, right? So what happens? You have violence, you have murder, you have gang warfare. It's inevitable. Maybe somebody should have thought of this. And inevitably, you'll get innocent people caught in the crossfire, right? Antipop says, support your local gangs. Yeah, got to. Let's see. Rosie says, definitely hoping the cleaning house happens. Musk for Doge for Department of Government Efficiency should help. That would be one of the most hilarious and awesome things I think I've ever seen. I mean, at that point, you got to say Elon will never stop winning at that point. And Trump too. Let's see. Rumbum says it's not even that they fight. It's much worse because both will become more and more brutal in tactics. Yeah. Yeah, that will spill out to the general public as well. Yeah, have you seen the stuff that those gangs do in Venezuela and down south? It's well, I don't know. It's bad. Antipop says Warriors come out to play. Yeah, but I think it's got to be more brutal than the Warriors movie. I'm not sure the Warriors movie was totally realistic. I'm not sure it was based on a book or something, some hard-hitting journalistic book. Nevada says disciples will win. Man, it's got to be like West Side Story when the shit goes down. Fuck. We're Casper the Friendly Gang. Let's see. JJ Nevada says we need full autos to go grocery shopping eventually soon, but they'll take those away from you. So Kamala will. And well, Kamala will take all of your weapons away. And they'll pack the courts, and then they'll get rid of all the guns, and then you'll just die on the way to the grocery store. Let's see. Rosie says, sounds like Babylon Bee headline, local criminals object to migrant criminals. I know. It's crazy, right? Like sometimes I think I kind of lose track of just how crazy it's got. I lose perspective because everything is so crazy now. Right? Once your society decides that sex changes for children is a great idea, like once things get that crazy, and I think you start to lose perspective. I mean, it's not really that long ago that most of this stuff, like open borders, sex changes for children, it's not that long ago this stuff would have been seen as totally insane. Of course, many people still do. It's just that the institutions and the press have been totally infiltrated with that lunatics. All right, what's going on here? All right, we already covered this. So let's move on. Oh, let's actually take a look at Chicago Police Department crime stats. Now, the problem with crime stats now is that there's a lot of stuff in these Democrat cities. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't even get reported anymore. But let's take a look at some historical comparisons here. All right, so 2024, 2023. So murder, 416, 457. And 2024 isn't over yet. Criminal sexual assault, 1,469, 1,512. But 2024 isn't over yet, right? But let's go back to 2020, say. All right. Murder, 556. Went up in 2021. Came down a bit in 2022. Came down to 501. 2023, 457. But that if you have gang warfare, like serious gang warfare between a group, a very brutal group, and then another group that, if they're not as brutal already, they're going to have to rise to the brutality of the other group. Sexual assaults, 1,152. Well, that's already at 1,469 in 2024. Robbery, 2020, 5,400. Already at 6,500 in 2024. Aggravated battery, 4,700 in 2020. These are huge numbers, by the way, anyway. The 2020 numbers were huge. Reached that already in 2024. Burglary, 6,600 in 2020, 5,500 2024 so far. Theft, this is where the numbers really start to go crazy. 7,500 in 2020, 14,000 2024. That's almost a doubling right there. That's almost a doubling. That's crazy. And let's see where it started to really increase. 2021, a big increase. Then a massive jump in 2022. Another jump in 2023. And it looks like it's going to be far more in 2024. So theft. Motor vehicle theft, 6,600 in 2020. It's by 2022, it was 11,000. By 2023, 20,000. This is just Chicago, by the way. 2024, 16,000 so far. 143% increase. Since we've had mass immigration in Canada, car theft has gone up, I don't know, by hundreds of percent. It's one of the things that seems to happen. You seem to get car theft groups. See, theft as well. This is this is interesting. I mean, for one thing, these are all massive numbers of crime. But if you end up getting a turf war between, I think probably safe to say, a more brutal gang, well, the local gangs will have to up their game, obviously. These numbers are going to go through the roof. I mean, the murder numbers are going to go through the roof, right? And when you get one kind of crime increasing, it tends to increase the rest as well. There's the tendency of that, just as the kind of confidence that somebody is in charge dissipates. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. What's going on here? Harris desperate to schedule second debate after rejecting Trump's offer for rematch. Isn't that interesting? So Trump rejected the idea, saying it was too late to schedule more debates after Harris rejected earlier offers. Now, Trump wanted to do the Fox News debate, which seems fair, right? She could have done that, but she refused to do that. And why? Why would she refuse to do that? Well, Fox News debate, she's not going to have it stacked. She's not going to have the whole thing stacked in her favor. That's why. Like the ABC was just 3 against 1, right? Fact checking Trump every single time, even when the fact checks were false. Not fact checking Harris. They didn't fact check her on the Fine People's hoax. Even Snopes says that's a hoax. The bloodbath hoax, right? Clearly, anybody can be better than the moderators of the debate. They can be better journalists than them simply just by actually watching 20 seconds of a video, which anybody can find in 30 seconds. Project 2025 didn't fact check on any of this. What about what did she say inflation was? She said it was at 8 or 9% when they took office. It was 1.4%. Anybody can find that out in 3 seconds. You could be a better journalist than those moderators by putting in literally a minute worth of work to just Google the numbers. The numbers are widely available. 1.4%. So that's why she doesn't want to go on Fox News, because she won't have that advantage. Where does she want to go? She wants to go on CNN. Now, Dana Bash has recently been talking an interview. She just did an interview where she was asked, why didn't you guys correct Trump, basically? Why didn't you do fact checks in the Trump-Biden debate? And they said, well, we didn't think that was our place, and we didn't want to be too involved, which, I mean, is laudable from them, right? Will they do that? Will they give that to the one-sided fact-checking if Trump were to agree to do a debate with Harris on CNN? They probably would. They probably would. I mean, she's going to want it rigged, and they're going to want to rig it for her, too. Is she capable of winning? Which I don't think she won that debate, by the way. I think the best you could say was that it was just a saw-off. But is she capable of doing well unless she's got both moderators firmly on her side, influencing, manipulating the viewers? I don't think so. Nevada says, I'm surprised she didn't want MSNBC. I'm sure she would love that. Nevada says Trump did CNN and ABC already. Yeah, exactly. But she is apparently desperate to schedule a second debate after rejecting Trump's offer for rematch. So, Vice President Kamala Harris over the weekend desperately tried to revive the prospect of having another debate against former President Donald Trump before the election by accepting a new debate offer. Harris's campaign said in a statement that the American people quote, deserve another opportunity to watch the two debate. Well, why did you reject the Fox debate then? Quote, it would be unprecedented in modern history for there to be just one general election debate, the campaign said. Vice President Harris is ready for another opportunity to share a stage with Donald Trump, and she has accepted CNN's invitation to a debate on October 23. Donald Trump should have no problem agreeing to this debate, they added. You know, after getting burned so badly by ABC, by the bias, by the ganging up on him at ABC, why would he? And again, you know, you have a prize fight. The guy who won doesn't want a rematch. It's the person who lost wants a rematch. I think that her internal polling is telling her something different than what you're hearing on mainstream media, than what mainstream media is telling people. Because otherwise, why would she want it? If she feels like she's winning, she feels like she's ahead, why does she want the rematch? I mean, I know we heard, she wiped the floor with her. She wiped the floor with Trump. I didn't see that. I didn't see an amazing performance from Trump either. But I didn't see her wiping the floor with them at all. I saw her standing there with her hand on her chin, looking pretentious and aloof. Which I don't think that really. How well did that really go over? How well did that really go over? I know that Democrats did like that, but the other problem is for independents is that she didn't actually say anything, just a bunch of platitudes. I mean, okay, we know you're from a middle-class family, right? We get it. What does that have to do with anything? How is that going to bring down the cost of necessities exactly? Something about falling out of a coconut tree? What? Trump fired back at a rally in Wilmington, North Carolina on Saturday, saying it was too late to do another, especially after she rejected additional debate offers from Trump in the past. Quote, "She's done one debate. I've done two. It's too late to do another. I'd love to in many ways, but it's too late. The voting is cast," Trump said, adding, "She's had her chance to do it with Fox. You know, Fox invited us on, and I waited and waited, and they turned it down. They turned it down, but now she wants to do a debate right before the election with CNN because she's losing badly." Well, I don't know that she's losing badly, but again, I think their internal polling is telling her something that the mainstream press isn't telling the public. Otherwise, she wouldn't want the debate. All right. And there are signs of this. Like, Democrats privately worry the Teamsters' non-endorsement is a warning sign. 60% of Teamsters, when they did their own internal poll, support Trump. Now, of course, they can't endorse Trump just because politics and corruption and all of that. So they said, well, we won't endorse anybody then. Even though clearly, the Teamsters themselves are 60%, 60-40. That's a pretty clear endorsement right there from the Teamsters themselves. But of course they can't because, again, corruption, right? Because of bias. But that should be worrying. How well is she doing exactly in the swing states? I think her internal polling, this is what I keep hearing whispers of this as well. Her internal polling is telling her something different than what the public is being told. Harris still has work to do to win over older white working class voters who make up a large portion of the electorate in the Rust Belt. You know what? I want to look something up here. Hold on. I want to find something that I've got let's see. Let's go to bookmarks. Was it in the Walls, Tim Walls? There we go. Let's see. Is it in here? Something that, I don't know, I found disgusting, and I would assume would turn off a lot of people. Where is it? It's the white guy's taco thing. We watched this a while ago, a month or so ago. Let's see. Okay, so I have no idea where I've actually gotten it organized. Why don't we just look it up? Hold on. Tim Walls, white guy tacos. There we go.
Home building can be a nightmare.
Sorry, guys. This is one of those crappy ads that I don't read.
Like I have white guy tacos and
What is
like
that?
black.
Like mayonnaise and tuna?
Like I have white guy tacos and
What is
like
that?
black.
Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much.
What is that, like mayonnaise and tuna? I have white guy tacos. Does this really go over well with the white working class?
Ground beef and cheese.
That's
and,
okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know.
Do you put any flavor in it? No. No.
Know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know?
Black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota. I don't know a single white person who doesn't like spicy food. I don't think I've ever met a white person who made mayonnaise and tuna tacos. Every single white working class voter should see this.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know, we've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine. So the purpose of this is to humiliate her vice presidential candidate because he's just a lame white guy. He's just a loser, lame white guy. That's the purpose of this. I feel like this was a miscalculation, right? I don't feel like, what is the percentage of white working class men who would watch this and go, oh yeah, I love these people. I love how they're mocking me. I love how they're lying about me. I love how they're just presenting these, frankly, racist stereotypes about me. I love this Tim Walz. He doesn't seem like a he doesn't seem like a cretin who's willing to humiliate himself for power at all. He seems great. And I find this gross, right? There's nothing funny about it. Is it supposed to be humorous? Is that what it's supposed to be? She's, just gently chiding him for being the wrong color and for being lame. Then he has to humiliate himself, talk about how, oh no, I can't have spicy food. No, I'm just a white guy. Who are these white dudes for Harris exactly? Who are they? Have they seen this? Have they seen what the Harris campaign thinks of them? This is embarrassing. Like it's gross. It's slimy. It seems to be a total miscalculation. I mean, this is a promise that vote me in and I'll humiliate you. How is this? It's weird, right? This is coming from a bubble that doesn't understand the world, right? This is coming from a bubble. The only reason that this can exist is because she gets, at this point, I believe it's up to 95% positive coverage in the mainstream press, no matter what she does. And Trump is up to, I don't know, it was 89% negative a month ago. I'm sure it's up to 98, 99% now, negative coverage. She's got a machine behind her, right, that works great, that's excellent at herding smooth-brained people and people who want to be led. She's got this big machine behind her that's great at just manufacturing consent and just herding all of the weakest, most credulous people into the down the primrose path that she's leading them. That the people that are controlling her, that the machine itself is leading them, right? I mean, Harris is just a puppet. I don't think there's much doubt of that. And I've been saying lately, her parents were both commies, like communist professors. Her own language has been communist, clearly communist, right? She loves to talk about equity, but I don't think that even matters. I don't think she'll be calling any of the shots any more than Biden has been calling the shots. Like, I have white guy tacos. Fuck you. Fuck you. This person doesn't even exist. This person doesn't even exist anymore. What are you talking about? Everybody has spicy food. I don't know anybody who do you know a single person? Do you know a white man who says, oh no, well, I don't, I have white guy tacos. Oh, I can't have spice in that. No, I'm too lame. I'm not cool. I could never hang out with P. Diddy. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. I didn't say that. I wonder if Walz hung out with P. Diddy. Sounds like the kind of guy you might have. Just might have. It's kind of weird, this P. Diddy thing, huh? Like it comes out right now. I wonder if it's like some rogue part of the agency that did it. That shouldn't really be the sort of thing, because there's like, there's like a lot of Democrats involved with all that, with whatever was going on that got filmed by P. Diddy, right? Anyway, that's off topic. Dems privately worry the Teamsters non-endorsement is a warning sign. I wonder how many of the Teamsters, those 60% said they're going to support Donald Trump, I wonder how many of them saw Tim Walz's I have white guy tacos thing, and or Kamala very generously offered, we'll have cantaloupe for you because you're so lame and white. I wonder how many of them saw that. I wonder how many Minnesotans. So I'm saying that, black pepper is, the top of the spice chain in Minnesota, because Minnesota is very white and so lame, It's fucking pathetic. If there was not a machine and just every institution working to trick people into supporting this empty vessel, it wouldn't even, there'd be no, it would be a landslide it would have been a landslide for Trump in 2020. This one, with him having lost 2020, this election would absolutely be a landslide. What would it be like? What would the polls be like, who are off by, 3-4 points every election anyway, in favor of the Democrats? What would it be like if instead of 95% positive coverage for Kamala, it was only 80% or 70%? It would probably be a landslide for Trump. They'd all be saying Trump landslide right now. 8 years after Donald Trump shattered the blue wall, some Democrats worry he could do it again. Most polls show Kamala Harris tied or leading Trump in the critical battleground states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin after a commanding performance at the debate. Well, this is according to Politico, commanding performance. Again, I didn't think it was like that. It was a dominant performance for Trump. If somebody said, well, I thought it's so soft, I go, okay, well, I can see that. What I saw was everybody knew what Trump wanted at the end of it. Close the borders, drill baby drill, right? What was Harris going to do exactly? I mean, she stole Trump's no taxes on tips thing, but that's not really like, that's not like your main tentpole policy. Like stuff like close the border is. Drill baby drill, energy production. Those are massive issues. What was Kamala really going to do other than just say she was going to do things? But anyway, according to Politico, she had a commanding performance at the debate. Party leaders are projecting confidence publicly, but on the ground, jittery elected officials, strategists, and allies are quietly pointing to warning signs for the vice president. The Teamsters withholding an endorsement from Harris this week after internal polling showed most respondents backing Trump is sparking fresh concerns that the GOP nominee could have higher than expected support among union members, especially men. Labor leaders in other sectors attest that, like in 2016 and 2020, the former president has maintained a grip on key parts of their rank and file despite his anti-union record. You know what's really anti-union? Importing millions and millions of people into your country en masse. Because those are going to be people that will work for less, that will bring down wages, that will reduce the power of the unions. That's actually anti-union. What is Trump's anti-union record exactly? They don't actually say anything here. They never do that. They'll just say, oh, his anti-union record. But they don't ever give any examples. I don't recall anything anti-union that Trump did anyway. He needed the unions. But it's Politico, so you know how it goes. Privately, Democrats say Harris still has work to do to win over older, white, working-class voters who make up a large portion of the electorate in the Rust Belt and have been hit by high prices. Well, I know what she should do. She should insult them and tell them that they're lame and they don't like spicy food because they're so lame and white. That's a great idea. She should just make that video over and over again every single day. I'm sure I would love it if she would do that. Everybody should see that that commercial just so they know what she really thinks of them. Quote, candidly, Trump has a solid base of working class people that have bought into his message, says Jimmy Williams, president of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, which has endorsed Harris. Yeah, none of those millions of people that have been imported under her watch, they're not going to compete for those jobs or lower wages at all. No way. It's good for them, actually. It helps. It's movable and it's been moving, but it's not like some tide that's turned. It's not really that. I mean, if you bring in more, like suddenly bring in millions of people, they're going to be competing for the domestic jobs. So supply and demand dynamic happening there. It's not that complicated. All right, let's see. So I guess the point is, why is Harris desperate to schedule a second debate? Is it because she's so confident? No. Now, if she were very confident, or her handlers were very confident, wouldn't want one. Again, the champ doesn't want the champ's not demanding a rematch, right? It's the challenger who lost is demanding the rematch. Whoever lost is demanding the rematch. So there are warning signs. I mean, there's signs like this. This is actually a big deal. Non-endorsement from the Teamsters. That's actually a big deal. She seems concerned. We know that the polls have been historically weighted towards Democrats the last two election cycles. It's interesting stuff. Does this mean that Trump's going to win? No. Does it mean that it's as bad as the media would make it out to be? No. So weird. Let's go here for a second. I just need to wash the taste of that out. What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Rosie says, I think Trump should not debate anymore. Very disrespectful. Nevada says, tell her to get bent. She lost the first one. I thought that Trump won. I thought he won because he actually expressed what his policies were going to be. This whole thing about he got baited, I don't know. I think that's so overblown. It's not like he spent the whole rest of the debate talking about that. He spent a couple of minutes, spent like a minute talking about the or 30 seconds talking about the rallies. I thought that was entirely overblown. Let's see. Rosie says 2 general election debates have happened. Not his fault that there's two different candidates. No. And it's another thing too, right? Like, okay, so and we've got Biden coming up. We've got him just totally losing. I mean, he's clear a video where he's completely checked out in every way now, right? But the whole thing is so dirty, right? We're like, okay, so he can't be the candidate anymore because he's definitely going to lose, even though there was a primary. He's got to go, but he can still be president. He's so infirm, he can't even run his cabinet meetings anymore. And he gets Jill, his wife, who, what are her qualifications exactly? Nobody voted for her. Gets her to do it. The whole thing is so damn dirty, isn't it? But anyway, he's done his 2 debates. Nevada says she's losing badly. I don't know. I don't know about that. Nevada says 44 days. Nevada says, Tampon Tim just said we need a change from the last 4 years. Did he really? Good Lord. Antipop says, take Tim's white card away. That's right. We don't want him. Antipop says, we kick him out. Yeah, absolutely. Nevada says, he's like the white guy on the Jeffersons. Antipop saying 46 CEOs quit after they got the P diddler. It's a disturbing story. I don't even really want to cover it because it's so gross. Like, there's some things that are so gross, and you hear about this Justin Bieber stuff and Usher and stuff. Like, it's just, ugh. It's the kind of stuff that, like, you lose a part of your soul if you look at it too long, you know? Let's see. Antipop. LeBron says in a video, there's nothing like a P diddler party. Stuff. Will anything ever actually come out, though? It's going to be like the Epstein stuff, right? I think that there's a good chance that the P diddler's not long for this earth. I think they're already putting out kind of suicide watch stuff on them, right? Obama likes Diddy too. Yeah, they were friends. Antipop says prominent people. They say, oh yeah, people that we've heard of. You can bet there's a bunch of politicians in there as well. I guarantee you it. Probably a bunch of Democrat politicians, maybe even a couple of Republicans in there too. Who knows? But I bet you there's a bunch of Democrat politicians that are on tape from these diddler parties. I mean, their aides are having gay sex in the Senate chamber, for God's sakes, right? Like, all right. Rosie says Venezuela has been a landslide several times now, yet Maduro keeps winning. Well, that's the goal, right? That's the goal for the leftists everywhere. They've achieved it in Venezuela. Looks like they've locked it down in Brazil. That's leftists everywhere. That's what they want. Let's see. Mossy Bossy says, is this supposed to be so titillating? I didn't realize it was titillating, but well, thank you. Totally unintentional. Let's see. Antipop says LeBron will have to testify. Antipop says conservatives. There'll probably be a couple. Antipop says Jason Kenney. Only the Canadians will understand that one. Maybe. If there's any conservative that's at the P diddler parties, it'd probably be him. Lindsey Graham. You know what? If I found out Lindsey Graham was at a P diddler party, I would not be surprised. All right. Where are we going now? We're an hour and 15 in. So you know what? I think that it's time to, and I told you guys, I don't really want to cover the P. Diddy stuff. I just find the whole thing really kind of gross. It's the sort of thing that you look at it too long and you start to lose your soul. You know, it's like the Epstein stuff, which I think I think that they're analogous in some ways, it seems to me. But then you guys make me talk about it. So I'm going to try and avoid it, but you guys will probably drag me back in again. But anyway, I think we're an hour 15 in. I think it's probably time to cut off the YouTube portion of this. So right now we're streaming live to Rumble and YouTube. And because of censorship concerns, I don't do the whole stream on YouTube anymore. Just do the first part. And then I got to cut it off just because You know, anytime that there's an American election, they go crazy. YouTube does. It turns into Stalin tube, Mao tube. It's always kind of like that, but it really gets bad during an election year as the election nears. So I'm afraid we're going to have to shut down the YouTube portion of the stream now. However, you can go over to Rumble and we'll continue on. You can get yourself an account there. You can download the app onto your Roku or your Apple TV or your smart TV or whatever. And you can watch it on your TV. That's what I do. Anyway, see you later at Stalin Tube. We'll see you on Tuesday. That's